There's a desire for walkable urban development in our metro areas. It is clear that if Rochester doesn't offer what the market wants, the individuals, families, and companies who seek a walkable urban way of life and business will look elsewhere. As mayor, how will you address this, and what will you do to encourage urban design policies that will respond to this market demand? Tom Richards.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity to be here. I agree that walkable neighborhoods and walkable environments are important in today's environment. And in fact, I think in our city we have a rare opportunity to take advantage of that. As our downtown, for instance, changes from a central shopping district to something new. Midtown is a good example of that. When it's replaced, there will be streets there will be open space, there'll be public space, there'll be smaller streets with parking. In other words, it will change the entire environment to encourage people not to just to be inside a building, but in fact to be out and about and to participate not only in downtown, but to be connected to the East End. Other examples of that exist throughout the city that we can take advantage of. The area of the arts, just down the street here, one block, is a good example of a place that's going to be even greater to walk in. There's a major investment going in down there starting this coming spring, and even what's been done has been very successful.
Tom, I don't mean to interrupt you, but you're going to have to press a button in order for your microphone to be heard.
Yes, no wonder there. Now here I am. That's a trick. But, you know, so be it. And as I was saying, I think we also should focus not only on downtown, where obviously the largest opportunities exist, but also in the various neighborhoods. The neighborhood of the arts, which is just down the street here, is a great example of a place where it's fun to walk now, and it's going to be even greater when the investments go in there this spring. One last thing though, if you talk about South Avenue, you talk about an area that's grown up by itself, you talk about High Falls right now, the plans for the harbor, the plans along the river corridor, but you also need people. Simply putting infrastructure in place without people doesn't work. That's why, for instance, it's so important to get people into the Midtown project. You can have all the infrastructure in the world. If there aren't any people there, the people aren't going to be comfortable and the infrastructure won't work. The East End works, South Avenue works, this area in the neighborhood of the arts works, Midtown will work with 1,000 people down there, but you need people to complement the infrastructure to be successful. Thank you.
Alex White.
Okay, I guess that's the first step. Thank you everyone for coming out. This is a great crowd tonight. I think it's important that in a short amount of time everyone takes the opportunity to find out what all three of us have to say. Excuse me, all the candidates, I apologize, what all the candidates have to say. Rochester has some great models for walkable communities. We have the South Wedge area, we have Art Walk, and we should use these as models wherever we can in the city. Our neighborhoods, for the most part, have been neglected and could use the development and vision that a walkable community would bring to it. One of the problems, though, is that our policy and zoning frequently won't support it. The walkable communities need mixed-use facilities. They need to have a mixture of both residential and commercial and retail. Unfortunately, our zoning has been done recently to bring it down so that it's not completely possible. And we have to make sure that whatever plans we come up with, policy is not trumping them. I feel that we should, as part of this, we will need to use our economic development money to support small businesses and create and foster them so that we can place them in the areas we need them to create these walkable communities. Besides this, I think we need to look at expanding sidewalks, tree lining our streets, and putting in art that highlights the unique characters of each of our neighborhoods that we can then connect and put together as part of a full city with connected walkable neighborhoods. Finally, it's winter time and we need to look at better ways to remove the snow from our sidewalks. This is doable. We need to look at things like shoveling perhaps, or other ways in which we can keep them clean so that we can have these walkable neighborhoods useful year-round. Thanks.
Bill Johnson.
Thank you. Again, joining in commending the organizers of this event. and thank all of you for coming out. As I reviewed the questions that were submitted to us in advance, there's a common thread that runs through all of them, and my answers will reflect that, so I apologize in advance if I appear to be redundant. But those three common threads are citizen participation, good urban design, and innovative cutting-edge thinking. And I think that we need to be prepared to engage in all three of these. We have to resume the citizen participation mechanisms that were established during my administration and which have been practically abandoned by the current administration, the Duffy-Richards administration. Because we cannot really talk about creating a livable community without the full participation of all of those citizens who agree to do so. We have urban design characteristics that we should pursue. And design charrettes, which were introduced into this community by the Design Center and fully implemented, are things that I'm going to encourage, and that again incorporates citizen participation. And innovative cutting-edge thinking. One of the ideas that I think that has been sort of pushed to the background by too many communities is the notion that cities like Rochester are shrinking in size but not in footprint. And we've got to really begin to look at models of shrinking cities and how we can effectively downsize our city to the point where it is functioning again and which engages all of us in this process.